I'm standing outside of Camp Gilboa. It's a winter and summer residential camp for kids and adults. At one time, this camp belonged to the Pasadena YMCA for the same purpose of winter camp and summer camp and for adults and kids. What I'm going to do today is take you on a short little tour of what it was when it was Camp Bluff Lake. Some changes have been made, but I think you're going to enjoy the tour. Come along with me, will you? If you come in the front gate of Bluff Lake, this was where the flagpole used to be. We used to assemble here in the morning, raise the flag, and begin our day. This is Wilfong Lodge. It was named after John C. Wilfong, a resident of Pasadena and a benefactor to the Pasadena YMCA. This housed campers and staff members during the Bluff Lake time. What's changed is this overhang was not there at the time. And this overhang was not there at the time as well. The first set of cabins that we come to was known at the time as Frontier Village. It consisted of 6 cabins. Each building had a KYBO. KYBO is an acronym for Keep Your Bowels Open. It's in this building that showers were taken and other functions. How many of you climbed on these rocks? The big rocks by the pool. Ah, yes, the pool. Many wonderful hours spent here. Kids look forward to the period of swimming. During the Y days, Bluff Lake days, there was a diving board there. Every night, we would make the trek up the hill to campfire. One of the special times of the day. Fun. Each cabin would take turns throughout the week putting on a skit, and the camp counselors would take their turn at doing things. This next village was called Rotary Village, as the Rotarians of Pasadena put together the funds to build a lot of these cabins. In this village were also 6 cabins. And of course the famous landmark, the dining hall. Some famous things happened here. This is the site where Haley Mills arrives at the camp in the Parrot Trap in her limousine. In fact, that happened right there adjacent to the dining hall. And right here, if you remember in the original movie, The Parent Trap, a little girl wanted to take a raccoon home and her father wouldn't let her. And that scene was shot right here. Around the back when we were camping, there was a big wood deck that has since been removed and replaced with concrete. For you more recent campers, those who were here in the 80s and possibly the 90s, this was the flagpole area for where you assembled in the morning and maybe even in the evening and prior to each meal. So here's the flagpole. Every day the flag would be raised in honor of our great country. And over here is where the infirmary used to be. No longer. They tore that building down some years ago. The sound of camp. And this is the iconic stage stop. Stomping grounds for many people who were on staff here at Bluff Lake, and maybe even some family campers, I'm not sure. In its prime, there was a middle portion to this, but since it's been destroyed somehow, I had a great time. My room was right in here. I roomed here for a couple of summers when I was wrangler at camp. In fact, one of the great stories, we played on the camp director at the time. He was from the Pasadena Y, and he came up here to bring his camp session up. And when he was out one day, as wrangler, I was able to do with the horses what I wanted. So what we did is we brought a horse inside this little room here, and when he returned from the day's activity, he walked in through that door facing the horse. And here's a shot of that. It's an infamous story. And this was the back porch area. And then many of you probably remember the generator room. The generator is what keeps camp electricity going for the entire summer. It has since been rebuilt. When we were here, it was made of wood. Now it's cinder block. You won't recognize this spot right now, but this is where the docks used to be. If you recall, I believe there were 3 bays. They house canoes, sailboats, and rowboats. And I can't get any closer because the water is pretty high. There's the island. And who can forget the Meadow Road? A little grown over right now and wet. We've had a great winter, so the lake backed up into the meadow. And I think I can make it across. Of course, out there were the stables. Over there in those trees is the camp chapel. And then every Sunday we would march across the meadow for a Sunday morning service here at what most of you will remember as the chapel. The entire camp would show up for Sunday morning chapel, and one of the counselors would present the sermon for the day. And this rock back here was used as the pulpit. It's a little overgrown right now, but it was sufficient for its purpose for that day. And when you come from across the Meadow Road, you wind up on this side of the lake. at a site once known as the Edwards Cabin. Funny story about this. Back in the day when this was a cabin, one of the staff members got married to another staff member, and this was their honeymoon cottage. We all came over as a camp staff one night, celebrated their marriage. We toasted right here at this fireplace, and then left them alone. Years later, it burned down, and to this day, I don't know what it's called, but for us, it's the Edwards Cabin. Kind of an iconic milestone here at Camp Bluff Lake. This is entering into Raggers Point. Pretty overgrown right now, a lot of pine cones, pine needles, but the circle is still there. After all these years, nobody found the circle. That's great. I got my white rag right there. It started way back early on, blue rag, worked my way up silver, all the way up red, purple, white rag right there. And if you recall, all the rags were hanging on these trees. That one had the white, and I don't recall what rags were on the other trees. I'm blown away. I found Raggers Point. We used to stand on this rock right here and recite the scripture or whatever else was to be recited. Each of these rocks were a station where new raggers would come in and would stop and would listen to a scripture or a parable of some kind. When I was wrangler here at camp, the stables where you came to catch your ride was right there to the right of the rocks. And this is the Bluff Lake Dam. It was built in about 1958 to block the water from escaping down into the San Bernardino Valley. And this whole lake at one time was a big meadow. In fact, I was here in 1958 when they excavated the meadow to start making the lake. And a lot of the excess dirt they piled up in the center to make an island. And this dam here was also used in the movie The Original Parent Trap starring Haley Mills. If you remember the scene where the girls, about 100 of them, are marching across the dam to the tune of the Colonel Bogey March, well, this is the site that was used for that purpose. Well, that's my trek through Bluff Lake. It was a great experience. Had a chance to see a lot of the areas that I haven't seen in years. The lake is the fullest I've seen it in years. As I said earlier, in a clip earlier, if I posted it, that the snowpack this year was a lot. So that helped a lot. Anyway, this wraps the video. I hope you enjoyed the tour and brought back some memories for you. And you gotta get up here and visit yourself, the Bluff Lake Reserve. Come up and see it. Great place. See ya.